Well, good afternoon and welcome to Crafters TV today here on Saturday. Yes, with a craft along, and I absolutely love craft alongs. You know, it's one of my favourite shows. I talk about it all the time whenever I'm asked that question. So I'm really excited. And today we're going to be doing all about the Chameleon Inkpads. And something a little bit different as well. So welcome to you all. Now, I know we're not actually quite live right now, but we can still be interactive, or is it reactive? Because we've got one of our lovely social media superstars looking after you whilst you are watching this craft along. So if there's any questions you want to ask, make sure you get those in and they'll get answered. But yes, we have got a fabulous craft along lined up for you. I'll tell you all about what's coming up later on this afternoon. But for now, I think if I show you the project and then tell you what we're going to be doing, you'll see that we've got a little bit to get through. Now, this card style is gone viral all over. It's one of the newest cards, but I've added a little bit of a twist. So I think you might have seen our lovely Debbie Fisher do like something like half of this. So literally this style of the card, but I wanted to go that little bit bigger and in an hour, yes, Liam, in an hour. That's producer Liam who's looking after me today. But yes, we're going to try and get this done in an hour. And it is using those gorgeous Chameleon Inkpads, which by far are my favourite ink pads that we've ever launched to date so far. And if you got them or you get them, you can craft along with me and you can recreate this. You can stop at and I'll tell you when you can stop if you want to stop and you don't want to go a full-on Debbie twist of a project. So I'll let you know at that stage when you can stop if you don't want to do a full-on piece. But this does fold flat. I will just show you it does fold flat. So it is one of those fabulous projects that I just wanted to get my teeth into. With that said, though, I can hear you all shouting out at your screens, what do we need? What's on the menu today? Well, let me tell you what you're going to be needing. So I'll give you a little insight to what you're going to need. Now, everything that I've used is all of the Chameleon Inkpads, so I've used all 6 of them. You've got the Swirls, Florals and Feathers stencil set. There is the Stitch Edge new dies, but I've used the Pennant flags. White card, black card. In terms of your I was going to say materials, but in terms of your things that you're going to need, your tools, is going to be your Guillotine, your Scoreboard, of course the Gemini II, or a mini, because we're only going to do a little bit of die cutting. The With Love mini expression die, of course, it's a Debbie craft along. You're going to need some butterfly dies. If you want to add that, that's optional. It's not necessary. You can decorate it however you want once you've done that. And then in terms of glues, the glues of choice I have chosen is the all-purpose glue, a tape pen and foam pads. And that's it, basically. That is it. Now, with that said, we're going to have to get cracking because we've got a fair bit to get done in terms of all our mats and layers. We're going to construct the card first and then we're going to get on with the inking and we're going to have a little play with those inks. And I love the Chameleon Inkpads because of that different look that you get across the white and the black, which you'll see once we come to using those. Right, with that said, grab your cardstock. So we're going to start with our main cardstock, and I'm using 12 by 12, but you can use A4 card if you've got some A4 card as well. And if you want to switch this up and do it on a black card or craft card, you're more than welcome to do that as well. This is just my card of choice. We're going to measure a first panel. In fact, we'll do it first at the 7-inch. So we're going to do 7 inches by 10 inches. So that's going to be the first panel that we're going to use. And that's going to be the main part. So it is quite a big project. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut ourselves 10 pieces of, oh no, not 10, 12 pieces of 4.5 by 7. So let's see if we can get this out of this one. I think we can actually. Let me just turn it that way. There we go. So we'll go to 7 inches again. And then we're going to cut 4.5-inch panels. So there's quite a bit of this. Now, if you're only going to do half of the star, you can cut that down to just 6 pieces. But we're going to go full on Debbie style. Big project, and so we've got 4.5 by 7 on each one of these. So a fair bit to be doing, but we'll get through there. Let's go to 7. And if you are using your bigger pieces, then this will come in really handy. I'm just going to move all my scraps to one side. So we'll just continue to do this, and then we'll do the counting, and then we'll do the scoreboard as well. So I think I'm at the 3 panels at the minute, and this is the 4th one. Save all your scraps because you'll use those for other pieces as well, and I'll explain that as we go along. So again, let's come in at 4.5 by 7. So where are we now? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll do one more. Now, if you only want to do that star card at this like one side, then you can stop after this one. If you want to go and do a full-on Debbie project, then you're going to have to just double that up and carry on and grab another 6 more. So that's the 6 for me. This is the 7. And then more sheet of the 12 by 12. And we'll come in and do... In fact, let's do the 7 first. There we go. And then another, we'll get another 3, is it another 2 or 3 out of this? Let's have a look. 1, 2, yeah. Liam's twittering in me there, yeah, 2. Now, you will be using about 3 or 4 sheets. If it's A4, you'll be using a little bit more. I'm just going to do a quick count. So we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, so I just want 3 more. Can I get another one out of that one? Yeah, of course I can. I can get another one out of there. And then, so that's number 10. 1 more sheet, and that'll be it, and then we'll be done. So we'll do that to 7 inches again. So I'll just repeat those measurements for you. And then you can decide how far you want to take this project. Right, there we go. So that is all of our bits chopped up for the time being. I'll just move that to one side. So your first panel will be 10 inches. So that's 10 inches by 7. This is then 7 by 4.5. And if, like I said, if you want to do the full star card that I'm doing, you're going to need 12 pieces. If you want to stop at the halfway mark and do the viral card that's all going all over the place, then just stop at 6. Right, with that said, we'll do some more mats and layers. In fact, I think I'll do the mats and layers now. We'll get those out of the way. So we're going to take some black card now, and we're going to cut ourselves 2 panels for the middle and the back of the card. So if I just bring the card back in for a second. So we're going to need the mats and layers for the front and the back. Now, I've left a space at the back so that you can write on your message or put your verse, and just decorated the front. You can, I did stop it, like I only did 6 round here, but then I ended up thinking, no, I want it fully round. So it's up to you again, it's your card, so you could leave off those white, but I'm going to show you the full part of it. So the 2 panels that we're going to use first is 2 black pieces of cardstock, and we're going to cut 2 panels at 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. So just 2 of those panels at 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. And that's the front and back panel. Then we're going to put 1 white panel now, not 2. We're going to put 1 white because we're going to have some nice little strips of white going across there when we ink. So we'll talk about that in a second. So I wonder if I've got a bit of scrap that might fit. So let's have a little look, because this one's going to be 5.5 by 6.5. Ooh, no, just a little bit too small. So we'll grab another sheet and we'll grab a panel at 5.5 by 6.5, and that is going to fit perfectly, and that's going to be where you're going to do all your writing. So you could glue that down at that stage if you wanted to. And then this panel, we're going to pop on a white panel with some black strips. So we'll cut another one and we'll work on that. So we're going to cut another 5.5 by 6.5, but this one's going to have some black strips running across it. So we'll just pop that to one side for now. And then we can, in fact, I think we will, cut our 2 panels that we're going to do. Now, the best way I'll describe this is I started off with a big panel and just chopped it down into strips. They weren't done individually. So they literally were a piece of cardstock that I inked through and then cut the strips down. So the panels that you're going to need for that are 6 3/4 by, wait a minute, let me get this right. Look at this, let me just show you. I put all my little writing here on this like little piece with all my measurements on there. So I think we will cut those panels to 6 3/4 by 4.5, and we'll do 1 in black and 1 in white. So I think I've got some, oh no, that's your card base, Debbie. Don't be cutting that up. Whew. Nearly, very nearly. So 6 3/4 by 4.5. I'll have a couple of those just to be on the safe side. And the same with the black. So we'll do some black cardstock and we'll cut 6 3/4 by 4.5. And Debbie's hoping she's got a measurement right now. So we'll just do a couple of those and we'll put those to one side. So that's 6 3/4, 4.5. So then we're going to do some inking on those and then we'll chop those panels up. We may need to put some, cut some more, but for now we'll just stick with those. And I'm just going to put all my bits to one side of all the spare bits, and then we're going to get constructing. So now what we're going to need is we're going to actually construct the card base. And then we'll do all the panels and all the inking afterwards, and then stick that on and do that. And we'll cut the pennants out and we'll do the butterflies if we get time. I think we're doing all right though. I think we're doing okay. So first of all, scoreboard. I'm using the Scoremaster. You can use the large one if you've got one. You can also use your Guillotine, because your Guillotine, don't forget, has got your scoreboard on there as well. Now this is a bit repetitive, and if you are doing the 6 or the 12, it's just a little bit repetitive, but it's really straightforward and easy to do. So just grab your scoring tool, and we're going to mark this at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch and 4, and that will form your cubed panels. And like I said, it's just a bit repetitive, but it's worth it because it's quite a stunning card, this one. I've always loved a cubed kind of card. As you know, I do quite a lot through my makes, and this one I just fell in love with, but I felt like just adding a little bit extra drama on with a little bit of a twist, hence why there is 2 of them. So again, it's just a bit of repeating this at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch and 4, and we'll stick all those and we'll burnish those in a second when we've gone through our mammoth pile of panels. Now, producer Liam, would you try this one at home? Because our lovely Liam, would you, Liam? I love it. I love it. I wonder if everybody else is crafting along with us. Do you know, if you do craft along with us, you're going to have to share your make on the I'm a Crafter's Companion page and tag us in there so we can have a little nosy at what you do and create. I've already seen some lovely ones with the, I keep calling it the viral card because it's quite an in style at the minute, kind of fold that I've seen quite a lot of people do. If you've noticed, I am just being gentle and doing a couple of like lines down the track. I try to be careful when I'm going through my cardstock. I want to make sure I've got the score lines in place, but what I don't want to do is go through the card. So it's just a couple of up and down in the track, gently scoring. Oh, I'm nearly there. I think 2 more after this one. And then I'll show you how easy it is to stick together. And then we'll have the fun with the ink pads. Oh, there you go. So 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and 4. Told you, it's really nice and simple. It looks more, it looks like a lot of work's gone into it. And don't get me wrong, there is a bit of work in this, but a lot of it is repeating yourself over and over. And now, Liam, I'm going to set you a challenge to see what you come up with when you next create, because I don't think many people know our Liam, not only is he wonderfully talented, and obviously you all know the set that he created, not just at Halloween, but at birthday, probably his best yet to date. But he's also very creative too, and crafts. So I can't wait to see your take on this one, Liam. He says he's going to have to whip something up. Now, it is just a simple case. And again, you'll find what I'm talking about when I say it's repetitive, is that you literally score all of those. We're going to use our super strong tape pen. Have I got... Is that... Oh, do you know, that's the one that's empty, Debbie. Come on, girl. Oh, hang on a minute. This one's nearly empty. Tell you what, I'll use a new one that I found on set of the old one. And I say the old one, it's just the throwaway one. It's still the same glue that's in there. So just to make this easy, just fold that in and then just literally stick the tab over and you've got your first cube. And it's as easy as that. So it literally is just, like I've said, a little bit repetitive. But I think sometimes it's worth it when you create something like a bit of a wow factor. And then it is literally just repeating the same fold over and over. And like I said, if you want to stop at the 6 and you just want to create that one, you can do on one side. But like I said, if you want to do the full one, then it's the full 12 pieces. Now, I made this card, as daft as this sounds. I do, as you know, in my craft room, I catch up on a lot of my soaps that I miss because I don't actually watch the soaps live when they go out. I usually just, when I'm in my workroom, I'm working, a little bit of background noise, but it gives me time to catch up. And I watched 2 episodes of Emmerdale and completed this card. I kid you not. So I'm hoping that, obviously, we are an hour with this show, that I'm hoping we get it done as well. Liam's just said to me, how many minutes? 45. I think it's doable, Liam. I think it's doable. I know when you probably thought at the beginning of the show, oh my goodness. But we'll see. We'll see. The thing that I haven't got today, don't tell him, will you? But I've got no Ben distracting me with chitter chatter. And this is why I love a craft along, but I also love a craft along by myself. But well, oh, is there a presenter in the gallery? Who's in the gallery? Is it our Brent? Brent, of course I'd have you in here then. I mean, you know, Brent doesn't distract me in the slightest. Not in the slightest. Oops. But yeah, I think you can get a lot more done when you're on your own. And this is no disrespect to our beautiful presenters who do a fabulous job. See what I'm doing there, Liam? Is he still there? Is he still there? Still there. Still listening and fire. One of them decided he got legs and nearly ran off there. I love what you do, guys, but yeah, sometimes it's nice just to crack on with the job in hand, so to speak. He'll get me, won't he? He knows he's no. I mean, no harm. It is a massive project, Liam. Yes, it is. We have. I set myself a challenge. I used to love our 2-hour craft-alongs where we could do like bigger projects or a bit more in depth. So I set myself a challenge to see if I could do this within the hour. And like I said, 2 episodes of Emmerdale. In actual fact, it was probably less than an hour because I watched them without the breaks. So on my ITV catch-up app, I pay for the one without the breaks because it drives me mad, advertisements. So I did it in 2 episodes, and I reckon that's about 20 minutes each episode. So I think we may be on track. I think, she says. I was just going to say that. Do our stateside friends know what? Now, they'll have all heard of Coronation Street, I'm pretty sure of it. So Emmerdale is another long-running soap in the UK. So all our UK people watching right now will totally get what I mean, unless you don't watch it. Yeah, I don't know. Let us know in the chat. Do you know what Emmerdale is? It used to be called Emmerdale Farm. We've got a lot of soaps here in the UK. There's EastEnders, one of my firm favourites that's been going since 1984, I think it is. Been watching that since the very beginning. Love EastEnders, one of my favourites. Hollyoaks, I haven't really watched since January, so I'm a little bit behind. And I say a little bit behind. How many months is that? 7 months behind, or is it like, I think it might be longer actually. Is it 11? Oh, there's no way I'm going to catch that up. I think I'll tune into the episodes that were over their birthday, because they had their, I think, 30th birthday, I want to say. Because they brought back Brookside, which was another favourite of mine back in the 80s and 90s. And look at that. All that talking and I've got all my cubes. This is literally what you will end up with, which looks daunting, but it really, really isn't. So if you're just doing the 6, so let's just make sure I've got 2, 4, 6, 2, wait a minute. Lord in heaven, I thought then for a minute, I thought I've lost one. So if you're going to do just the one, it's just the one side you will keep, and I'll show you how to construct that. So what we need to do now is grab our panel. So our 10 by 7 panel is where we're going to put these. And this really is, it looks complicated, but it's not in the slightest. We're going to pop our glue down one side of the cube. And we're going to fasten and attach this edge. So where the glue is, it's going to attach to this end. And you literally just line that up to that end of that card base. Once you're happy with the position, I'm just going to push that a little bit further there, and happy with the alignment and that it's all lined up, you then just attach the glue to that cube. So again, there's your first part of your cube. Now, you'll have seen me do this before, where I've just done one cube either side and had it like as a little bit of a bridge fold. I've done that before. What we're then going to do is take our second cube, and we're going to do exactly the same. Glue down one side, and then flatten that one down so you can line this up. So where the glue is, you're going to push it up to the edge of that cube. Again, just make sure you're aligned straight and top and bottom. And once you're happy with the position and where that is, again, you just make sure you've got a little bit of heat through your hand to just start that off. And now you can start to see it forming. You then flatten this one, and this next cube is going to sit right in the middle. So flatten that down, they're going to sit like that on top of each other. So this cube has glue on both sides. So you literally cover that in glue. Now, you can use red liner tape if you want to use red liner tape. But I know our glue is the best in the business, super strong. So you can do this with just our tape pen or wet glue. But all you're going to do now is line this edge to this edge here. So if I just push that up, they're going to sit in between both of those. So just flatten that down. And then again, placement-wise, now I've got really bright lights in here, so I'm going to try and do this carefully. And just, in fact, I'm going to turn it to myself so I can see it a little bit better. There we go. Once you're happy with that, you then just literally, again, you need that heat for the glue to stick. And then you can push out, and that is your first part done. You then turn it over. Now, when we do the next glue, it's exactly the same process. Glue just down one cube, just the one cube. So the one piece there. Let me just make sure I've got that right. Oops, hang fire. Got a little bit of a overhang there, so let's just trim that off. There we go. And again, now what you're doing is, now I want you to remember that this is part of the cube. We're not going to stick it up to that edge. We're sticking it to this line here. So it's basically the base of the card. So where your glue is, you're going to do exactly the same up to that edge of that card. Once you're happy with the alignment, again, just check that alignment, that it's all in line. You're then going to attach and then just push that up. So now you'll start to see it forming and coming around. And then flatten that again. Take your next cube, just the one side for this one. So again, nice bit of glue. And then again, where the glue is, we're going to take it up to this edge. So flatten that down so you've got that where you can see it visibly. What's visibly when it's at home? And then just line that up and again, attach that on. And then that last cube, and now you really can start to see this forming. You can see that lovely star shape, or like a pretty flower. Last cube for this one will be your glue on both sides. So I try and find, to keep it nice and neat, I try and find where my join was and I cover that up. So again, get your glue or your red liner tape or your finger lift tape or your wet glue. Give it a good coverage, flatten, and then attach to that middle section again. So again, it's a repeat. It's a bit repetitive, but it looks so effective. And that is where the viral part of this that you'll have seen all over the socials and everywhere else, and I think our Debs did this one, is where you could stop. So you could literally take that cardstock and just stop. You could cut that down shorter, maybe do 10 by 6, sorry, not 10 by 6. You could do 8 by 7 or 7 by 7. Just remember that your space-wise would be little there. However, I'm going to do exactly the same now, but on the other side. So my 12 cubes, and that's where you'll get your full piece. And it's exactly the same. Glue down one side of the cube to start with. Line it up to the edge. So I'm going to turn this way. Again, I just want to make sure before I stick that down that I'm lined up, because it will affect your card if it's hanging over either edge. So again, you'll see now, I'm just repeating, literally repeating the same thing over and over. So I'm going to run this glue down one side here. And I'm going to flatten and then join it up to that middle. Make sure it's lined up top and bottom, and then stick. And then flatten, middle cube. So the middle cube has glue on both sides. And we are going to flatten that down, line that up in the centre again, and I'm just going, in fact, I'm going to do this again just to make it a bit easier. You don't have lights like that we have in this studio, which can be a little bit off-putting at times, because it creates a little bit of a shadow, and sometimes you can go a little bit wrong with your fold. But that is a repeat of what we've just done on this side. And then exactly the same, ignore that cube first. So when you put your glue down on one side of the cube there, we're going to ignore this panel here. We're going to flatten that, and we're going to line it up to the edge. I'll do it again this way, make it easy for yourself. Take it up to the edge of the base card. And then when you're happy with your alignment, and make sure that's all lined up, it's a repeat again. So flatten that down. You can take your bone folders and get yourself your creases in there, you know, your burnish marks to make it a bit easier. But again, one side, and I'm just going to find, there it is, the end. Cover all those ends up. Makes it nice and neater as well. Just down the one. Flatten, push up to that centre. Make sure it's aligned at the top and the bottom. Yes, it is. And then the last cube is the one that has the double glue on. All the way down, top and bottom. Make sure you've got a good coverage going across so that it sticks really well. And then flatten that one and place, I'll do it this way again, in the centre of both of those. And once you're happy with the alignments and where it is, and that looks good to me, there is your construction card. Let me just make sure that one's squished out. There we go. That is your construction card done. And that is how quick and simple it is to put together. But like I said, I've gone full on double Debbie here. Could have stopped at the one, but no. Debbie being Debbie. Push these challenges. How are we doing for time, Liam? Half an hour left. Guess what we're going to do now? The main star of the show, the Chameleon Inkpads, because you've constructed your card. And we'll put that up there. And like I said, this card base folds flat. It folds flat. And if you're thinking about terms of the size of a card, because obviously I've gone big with this, you could make this smaller by just shortening that base, by not adding the other side on. So you could have made this, instead of it being 10 inches going across, you could have shortened that. You know, you can adapt it to however you want to adapt it. Right, let's get cracking. Now, first things that I'm going to do is, I'm going to just put my panel down. This is the bit that I'm going to write on or put a verse on. So this bit is just glued on. And this is the bit that's not going to have any ink on it. So we'll get that. I think my glue's dried up. I think it might have been hot in here last night. I think someone left the heater on. I know. It was very warm when I walked in. There we go. We'll just pop that on the panel. There we go. And we'll just put that to one side because that is going to sit into the centre of there. It literally fits. Then do you know, when I look in then I thought, what have I done? Have I made my measurements wrong? No, you haven't, Debbie. So we're going to pop that in. So we'll get that put on now. We'll stick that in and get that on. At this point, you could stamp your verse on there. You could stamp it before you get it put down because obviously it is quite a bulky card, is that the right word? And maybe you want to place that into the centre before you actually stick this panel down because just makes it easier. There you go. But there you go. That's just for where I'm putting the writing. So let's get on with the next bit. Now this bit, I'm actually going to put, let me just, Debbie, come on, was the other it will come up. The other panel that I want to create, but I want to create some stripes going down. So I'm going to just take some black cardstock and cut, shall we cut an inch? Yeah, we'll do an inch. Let's have some inch stripes. You at this point could do whatever size stripes you want. I just want a few, and I say stripes, I think strips would be the word I'm looking for. Oh, I might go bigger actually. Let's do 1.5 inches. Yeah, I'm going to do 1.5 inches. I could actually have a little bit of a mix and match. I could do some inch ones as well as some 1.5 inch ones. I'll see what these look like going across. So I'm just going to cut a few strips. And this is just so I've got a little bit of a contrast. I think that should be enough. Let me just push that to one side. This is just like a little bit of a contrast going across my card base like this. So, and I'm going to pop those, yeah, I think three will be enough. Yeah, right, bit of glue on there. I'm going to use tape pen again. It is super sticky, super strong. And let's just put that all the way across. And I'll just go diagonal. We'll chop into that in a second. I wonder what it should look like with little one. Is that the inch one? Let's have a little nosy. Oh, yeah, I quite like that. Debating. Stick to your plan, Debbie, stick to your plan. This is where it can come off the wheels now, Liam, because Debbie starts chopping and changing her original plan. And we're not going to do that. We're going to stick to what we have planned. Have planned, Debbie, yes, have planned. So I'm going to pop that little one there. And I'm just grab my scissors. You can do this with a guillotine as well, but I'm just going to cut that down. Let's get that off there. And then, yeah, if you want a neater finish and you're not good with your scissors, just use your guillotine and cut back round that panel. But I just wanted, because this is the Chameleon Inkpads and they look different on black and white cardstock, I just wanted that contrast over the back, you know, over this panel. There we go. What was that, Liam? Oh, you can use a nesting die. Good shout out, yes. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? Oh, I think of these things after. I'm just going to put one more just down here. A little one. About there. There we go. And then just trim that down. And then we've got now somewhere to work with our stencil. Now, if you haven't got the stencils that were launched during birthday, you can use any stencil at this point. I'm just trying to get all my gluey bits up, look. I put glue down everywhere and I end up with stuck absolutely everywhere. Yeah, so you could use any stencil. I've taken this one from the Swirls, Florals and Feathers, and I'm just using that as a base to line that up and then have the contrast in between the colours that I'm going to be using. Now then, are they spare panels, Liam? Where have they come from? Do you know what? I'm just going to move them to one side for now. This happens to me all the time. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We've got plenty of time, so let me just have a little bit of clear up and a little bit of a movement round so I can See where I'm going with this. Now, your stencil, you can stick down with tape, with your stick and spray, if you want to hold it into place. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to lie. So I'm just going to line that up. Have I got that the right way around? Oh, yeah. Oh, this piece. I had it that way. You're right, Liam. I did. Yes. That way. Oh, Liam. Good shout out. Let's just double check. Whew, nearly. You're right. Let's just double check. I nearly had it the wrong way around then, and my pattern would have been... What a good shout that was, Liam. It's that way, isn't it? Whew. Very nearly went wrong then. And then my pattern would have been on the side, and I would have been most unhappy with myself. Most unhappy. Thank you for that little shout out there. Right, let's get playing. Oh my God, who else loves these Chameleon ink pads? Liam, do you like them? I think they're the best ink pads we've ever done. I absolutely blooming love them. And that eye-catching shimmer that's in there, looks stunning. So we are going to just take, and we're going to use all of these colours. I think I'll start with pink. We'll go in this top corner, and we're just going to use, and I'm using ink daubers. Now, I know I didn't put that in my list, because ink daubers is a personal choice, from your rounds to your squares to your sponges, and I've actually got a mixture of both, so it's entirely up to you. What I'm going to try and do is get all 6 colours onto there, so halfway mark. Let's go in with, let's have this gorgeous tropical glow in the next part. And I'm just going to use, I see what I mean, I mix up which I use between sponges to applicators. And I want a nice coverage down, so I'm going to push that in. There's a lot of detail in these stencils, and sometimes you can skim over. So push your chosen applicator into there. So by that I mean get in those nooks and crannies to make sure you're getting a good coverage. Should we have the orange one this side? Yeah, I say orange. It's the Passion Fruit Punch. Gorgeous colour. Absolutely beautiful. Now we've got a bit of inking to do, because not only have we got this front panel, but we've also got our side panels to do too. So we'll get them done now, out of the way, and then we can chop those bits up, stick it together, and then if we've got time, we'll do the decoration part as well. What's the next colour? I think we'll do a bit of purple down here. You can choose, of course, where you're going to put that. If you aren't sticking this down, then please be mindful that your stencil can and will move, as Debbie's just seen hers move, because I didn't stick it down. So this one is that gorgeous lavender haze. And again, push that in, make sure that gets a good coverage onto there. Then we've got a bit of blue there, green there. Yeah, we'll do that. So that's the blue, which is the Sunrise Sky. Another gorgeous, gorgeous colour. It's absolutely stunning. Really, really is. Don't think I went over that bit, did I? There we go. And then lastly, we'll have the green. So let's get the green, which is the Rainforest Glow. Oh, I didn't leave myself much with green, did I? Never mind, it'll look lovely when it's all on. And again, make sure you push the ink. Did you see it move again? No. Let's see if I can get, there we go, there, that'll do, that'll do. And then when you take that off, oh my God, it looks stunning. It looks absolutely stunning. Oh, Debbie, it's got glue underneath. Look at that, and that's before it's even dried off. Can you see that? Oh, so what I'm going to do is just to give it a little quick tinkle with the heat tool. Now, I know I didn't put this on my tools. However, you can leave it to dry naturally, but we're in the midst of a craft along. How many minutes have I got left, Liam? How many? 20? Pretty decent. Pretty decent. Especially for the size of this project. But yeah, we just want to give that a little blast. It intensifies as well when you apply the heat. It intensifies that colour and that beautiful sparkle. That's lovely. It is eye-catching. It is gorgeous, that shimmer, and looks gorgeous on the white and the black. And of course, you'll see the colour change on the black. That's why I absolutely love them, because that was not purple. Can you see there? It was purple there, but on the white. But when it comes in close, on this one, it's got that, it just changes colour. He's so clever. I absolutely love them. So when you can see now that sparkle, look at that, it's absolutely beautiful. And even that blue has turned into purple, and that red, or that, you know, the tropical fruit has turned into this golden, oh, it's just delicious. It really, really is. Now, I am going to move that to one side. I'm going to stick my panel down and get that out of the way. And thanks to Liam, save my bacon, because I've got it going in the right way that I wanted it to go on the panel of my card. So a bit of glue. And we're just going to stick that down onto that panel. And there you go with the panel that's now going to stick. And if I bring this, oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do this one in a second because I've got a bit of ink everywhere. But that is going to sit in the middle panel like so. So I'll just leave that to one side for now and let that dry. So I'll just make sure I've pushed the glue. Yep. And then we're going to bring in the other panels. So we've got a couple of white ones and we've got a couple of black ones. I wonder if, yeah, I can do it in there. So what I'll do is, I'm just going to line that back up. And then just, rather than cleaning, I'm going to keep the colours where they are. And then we'll do that and then we'll cut all our panels up. So I'm just going to make the use of that spare bit of ink. Also means that I don't have to keep washing the stencil in between each use. Me being a little bit lazy there. Yeah, using my time wisely, little Liam, is what I'm doing, using it wisely and being smart. What is it when they say work? What is it? That's saying. That's it, work smarter, not harder. I can never remember my sayings. I get my sayings mixed up. Always the wrong way around, and then sometimes get the sayings completely wrong. Right, so let's just push. Oh, God, that tropical punch is absolutely got. Not tropical, the fruit punch is just beautiful. And again, push that in. Now, you will get inky fingers at this stage, but I don't care. I love getting inky fingers. They come off at end of day. Not your fingers, but the ink. They come off at the end of the day. They literally do. And then again, push. If you've got a little spongy, I just find it a bit easier sometimes with this to get that ink into there. Let's get the... Where have you gone, green? There you are. It's because I've doubled you up. Let's get that in. And you get two different looks with the white and the black. So let's get purple. That's the last one. There we are. So pushing that around and again wiping up some of that that's already on there. And then I think we'll do that for the second time. So I'm just going to push that to one side. I'm going to make sure I've got enough panels just in case my calculations went wrong. So I'm going to make sure that I've got 2 white, 2 black, and that should be enough to cover the 12 panels. Now, if you only want to do the 6, then of course just do the half the quantity that I'm doing. That's all you need to remember. Let's go down. Oh, Debbie, wrong colour, girl. Do you know what I should have done? I should have made sure that I'd got the colours in the right place where I've put them. That would have helped. So let's not do it, Debbie. And I've also now interfered with the colour that I had, because was that purple? Of course it was, Debbie. That's your... Oh. Ah, well, it'll be fine, she says. Bit of art, thanks, Liam. If I stick the sponges where the ink is, this won't go wrong. So we're not going to do a Debbie. You're going to be more careful when applying your ink, and you're probably going to line up the inks in the right place where, so like pink, that, and then that should be purple. That might help, actually. Let's do a quick shifty round. That'll help. That should help, shouldn't it? You'd think. We'll see, yeah, we'll see, Liam. Definitely. Let's put a little bit of purple and mix that up a little bit. Oop, don't you move, sponge. Oops, now you can see, perhaps we should clean this down. But again, do you know what? It really doesn't matter, because you can rectify it. There's no such thing as mistakes. They're always little happy accidents, aren't they? And there's something that you can rectify that with. And then lastly, the green. And then we're going to do the same with the black, and then Liam's going to give me a little check on time. Okay, 15 minutes, yeah. I'll take that. Now we're on to the black. Stay. And then again, just repeat where your colours are. You'll get a different look though this time, because obviously these are black and the colour changes. That's what this is all about, the Chameleon ink pads. They change their colour. Red. And then we'll go down here, blue. And then we're going to take the green. There we go, pop the green in. These are really juicy ink pads as well, guys. They're really, 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 really juicy. So you will get inky fingers, but like I said, I mean, are you crafting have you really crafted if you're not covered in ink? And it can, oh, we've had a producer change. Is this my little Jamie in my ear now? Hello, Jamie, how are you? Good morning to you too. Oh, good afternoon, yes, good afternoon, because it's a Saturday afternoon, Jamie, did you know? It's a Saturday afternoon, fancy coming in on a Saturday afternoon. Oh, look at that, that looks beautiful. Now, at the minute, it's still wet, but look at that. Oh, come on, look at that. Let me just turn it that way around so we can get in close. And again, absolutely stunning. And then just one more. So literally one more. Like I said, if you've done the 6-panel one and not the 12-panel one, you can stop at the one of each. It's just that I've gone big statement bold, as you do. Got to do a bit of bold, haven't you? Why not? Make sure you've got your ink in the right places this time, Debbie. So I'm working going down each panel. I think this is the easiest way, and then that way, I don't think I can go wrong. As you saw earlier. I hope you're enjoying this craft along, guys, and I hope that you attempt something similar, or maybe you put your own twist on it. Don't forget, I'd love to see what you create. So please do tag me in your post, share your make. Now then, are you blue or are you green? Blue to me, yes, thank you, Jamie. Look, blue. I think I must have put it on the wrong side. It's because I've doubled this one up with 2 colours. Trying to confuse myself even more. And then last one for the green. And then before we finish, we are going to just have a little bit of scrap. Not a scrap, but a scrap piece of paper. Just let that just go there for a second. And what we're going to do is we're going to, now you could do it, actually we could do it with this and then we could cut the word out. I think I'm going to change this up a little bit. Yeah, Debs, you are. I'm going to just do a little bit more just onto there. I'm only going to do a little bit, so I'll have the purple, no, I'll have the pink. And then I'm just going to have a little bit of purple. Now, this is just for me to do my cutting out with my sentiment. So, because I'm going to cut my sentiment out there. And I could continue that pattern, or I could just take a scrap and then literally just put a little bit of ink on, ready to do a bit of die cutting with. So you've got your matching colours. Or you could add the ink afterwards. So what I mean by that is if I put a couple of colours down there, when I come to cut my word out, I've got that ready to cut out. So let's do a very quick, and then I'm going to get a time check from our lovely Jamie. 13 minutes. That will do, Jamie, that will do. But I just need to clear up because I've got myself in a little bit of an inky mess. Of course, we're having fun, that's it. You've got to get inky, haven't you? Now I've lost the top, there it is. Let's pop that down, and I'm just going to put those back in because I don't really need those just for now. And yes, Jamie, you could, rather than waste that ink that I'm going to be wasting in a second, You could indeed do that. Spritz some water and pick up. And again, that could be another. Have I got a spritzer? I've got a spritzer. Little cracking idea. Spritz the water and then grab a spare bit of cardstock and do a little bit of swooshing. Lovely little idea from our Jamie there. And you know what, Jamie? I'm glad you said it, because this could also be the piece that you die cut your words out with. So yeah, lovely little idea, Jamie. Thank you very much for that. Let that dry off. Says, I've only been watching you for 4 years, Debbie. He's picked up some tips along the way, ain't you, love? And as with all of us, I think we all pick tips up and we all pick ideas up from each other. It's all about that sharing your ideas. I'm going to have to get cleaned up for the next show. Look at this. Oh, my goodness me. I am covered in ink, guys. However, it is my... Yeah, Jamie's saying, if you watched on Tuesday and you wonder why my fingers are all inky before we've even started, you'll know why. Might give you an indication of when this was recorded. Right, now then, I am just going to give those a very quick blast with my heat tool. Like I said, Jamie, you'll be pleased to know I missed off an important part yet again. Another tool that I missed off my list. But it's literally just giving that a little bit of a dry. And like I said, the longer you leave it, the more it intensifies, but you can speed the process up with a heat tool. Now then, I did say that these are now going to be cut down into panels. Now, can I remember the size that I started with, which I think was, let me just get this, get me larger guillotine, because I just want to make sure that that is 6 3/4. Yes, Debbie, it is. It is. Because the size of the panel card is 7, so that's why we're doing 6 3/4. Now, each cube was an inch, so these are going to come in at 3/4 of an inch. So line that up to 3/4, and you've got your strips then ready to go onto your panels. Now, I have gone a little, I think I may have got more panels than I actually needed, but I'd rather have some spare than not enough. And I think the reason I did the double is because I'd done the double up. So, Jamie, has this one managed to wiggle its way back in? It needs tightening up, this, I think. Thank you. Jamie's got to tighten up. This shouldn't be flopping down. It should stick upright. Now, because of the size that we've done, I've actually calculated it, which is why I told you it was 6 3/4 by 4 1/2, because it gives me the right strips for each panel without me having to waste any. It literally takes you up to the quantity that you need. And then, of course, we're going to have some black ones to this side. And I found it easier doing it this way rather than cutting the strips and then trying to ink through them. So if you start with the panels and then chop down, it just makes it that little bit easier when you're applying your ink. So let's just make sure. And there should be one more there. But again, I'm going to do that twice over. In fact, what I could have done, and I will do with the last one, is I could do a double cut at the same time, because this is a very sharp guillotine. And by that I mean, put these two panels together and then cut together at the same time, so that I've got my strips. So that I could have sped that up, and I needed to do that twice rather than 4 times. So again, we'll just make sure. And then a couple of more cuts. And then I think one more, or is it 2 more? Let's have a little peek. I think it's 1 more, this one. And just make sure. There you go. Oh no, it's another 2 more. I was right the first time. And then we should have enough, especially if you've done the full two towers, or the two stars. There you go. There we are. So let's move that out of the way. Right, bringing back in our card. We're first going to stick the middle panel in. So grab your glues. Put enough glue on there. And what it's done by adding the front and the back panel is it gives it rigidity. So it literally gives you a really good, strong base card. So because obviously you've got a lot of panels there, what you don't want it doing is flopping over. So yeah, it gives it extra rigidity. Right, and that's all we're going to do now is we are going to flatten and we're going to add these strips on each panel. I'm going to use wet glue. It gives me a bit of wiggle time to get them into place. And you're just going to simply one white, one black, let's get the black ones going, and alternate those around the star. And again, it really shows off those beautiful inks to perfection. They're just absolutely gorgeous. How many minutes was that, Jamie? Oh, 6.5, right, maybe then we might not have the full time to get the butterflies caught, and I think we might get the panels cut though, so we'll have a little look, we'll reassess in a second. But the decoration part, I think, can be done at your own leisure. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with how far we've come in this hour. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Now, I'm going to do exactly the same. This is where you could stop. If you don't want to decorate the back, you could stop. But I wanted to do the whole lot. So the next one is a white one for me. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do the front part of this, just in case. Yeah, so we'll just pop that onto there. And like I said, this part is just the decoration part. So I might stop there so we can get a bit of the die cutting done as well. And then I could add those panels on later. Because it is literally, I did say at the very beginning, it's a little bit repetitive in terms of what you need to do for your base and then for the decoration part as well. But I hope you agree it's worth it. So again, we'll just pop that on. And then another black. So how many is that? So we'll do the 6 because that's 4. Let's go around and do the 6. The next one's a white one, and that's going to go on the inside. Whoops, did I get that the wrong way around? Yes, you did, Debbie. Make sure your pattern follows through. What's that? Follows the pattern. Follows the pattern. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh, look how gorgeous that one is. Oh. Love that colour. The colours look stunning. There we go. And then the last one would be black, just to the front part, but of course we'll add the extras on. And then I'm just going to do the same this side. So add. And just pop that. And like I said, if you don't want to add the decoration all the way around, you don't have to. I just liked it because I thought it kind of finished it off by, you know, we're having the same colours, but we'll check the time in a second. 4 minutes. Look, me being clever again. Yeah, we're going done. I did it in time. I did it in 2 episodes of Emmerdale. Yeah, well. Hey. You will be taking your time, though, at home. So that's just the front part done, which looks like that at the minute. There you go. Looks like that. And then, of course, you can then stick the rest, because you've got enough now to do the other side as well. So we'll put those on later. What we'll do is, oh, one's there. Listen, you get back over there, and I'll stick those down in a second. I can do that after the show. It's fine. What we'll do is we'll grab our dies for the pennant. Now, you can decide on the size that you want. What we're going to do is we're going to, oh, do you know what, Jamie? I might have that for the butterflies, that one for the, with love. Or we could even have a nice matching so that it matches the pattern. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Now, at this stage, we're probably not going to get all of this done, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. We've got about 3 minutes left, but like I said, this is just the decoration part. So if I bring in that one, hold that down. A bit of low tap tape. Debbie, where's your low tap tape? Disappeared. Well, I've got that much rubbish. Oh, I started off so clean, so tidy. I knew it'd go belly up towards the end. Excuse me. And then just decide on your size of your pennant. I think that was the one that I used for the black. That was the one I used for the white. So again, if you want to use your colours or your inks, you absolutely can. But we'll put that one there. We'll have a black one. In fact, I could have done this on my larger plates and then I could have got both in there, but you get the gist. Let's just put that over there. Put the With Love there. A little bit of low tack tape down on. And then I just want one more pennant. I wonder if I can squeeze that on. What do you think, James? Do you think we can get that squeezed on? I think we can, do you? Yeah, I'm sure the Gemini can. I'll just use some of my scraps that I got from earlier. There we go. Let's push the Gemini to its limit on the smaller plate. Me re-getting all of them on there, but it should be okay. And I'm going to just run that through. And then that will be for your sentiment. You can of course use any sentiment. I know you know me very well. I do love my With Love, shall not lie. But you could use any sentiment on there, any of your nesting dies. All the decorative ones are absolutely beautiful, and I'm pretty sure we'll be having a craft along with the decorative nesting dies at some point. But yeah, all this is just to do. There we go. I think that might just need a little helping hand because I think that was on the edge. Yes, it was. That was quite on the edge. But this is literally just to do the decoration piece of your panel, and it is literally just lining each one of those up and then popping your sentiment. So I took mine up to the top. You don't have to, you could have that dab, but I took mine up to the top and then just pop on your sentiment. And then I think what we'll do is we will look at the finished card. And I'll just talk about, because I think we've run out of time now. But literally, just pop your sentiment. Oh, I quite like that. That's quite funky. I'll put a little black one underneath it, though, to make that pop. However, that would then sit onto your card and then just add your decoration on as well. So this is what the finished one looks like, guys. I've taken you through the construction, which I don't think is pretty, I think that's pretty decent. All of the construction and how to put your panels on. And like I said, I took mine all the way around, so the back panel's on there. And then I just added some of my favourites, I love a butterfly, to make that and finish that make off. And guys, that's it. We're out of time. I think, and I do hope you've enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing this one. Like I said, a little bit of a viral sensation, this kind of style card, but just added with a Debbie twist by sticking another one on the other end. I hope you've enjoyed the craft along. Coming up later on is I think it's our Jack and Brent, I think it is. I remember Liam telling me earlier, but I think it's Brent and Jack. I could be wrong. You'll find out if you tune in an hour's time. But for now, thank you very much for joining me on this craft along. Don't forget to tag me in your makes if you've tackled this one. And whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, I hope you have a fabulous Saturday. I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.